Another voting rule is approval voting. Now, our voter may vote for any number of candidates, may approve such number of candidates, not just a single candidate. And we count the approvals for all candidates. The candidate with the largest total number of approvals is the winner. Approval voting was introduced in the 1970s, was started in the 1970s. Initially, Stephen Brahms wrote a book with his co-author Peter Fishburne. Then turned out that there was another gentleman, Mr. Weber, who discovered approval voting described earlier. But it turns out actually that it was very popular before scientists started studying approval voting in many countries. So now the idea is very simple, but we don't have any formal method to denote which candidates are approved by our voters. So let's do it the following way. In a voting profile, we have a voting profile. We have our candidates ordered. In this case, X is at the top, then Y and Z. So let's put the mark of approval at some point. This means that voter 1 approves both X and Y, but disapproves Z. So those who are to the left are approved, and those who are to the right are disapproved. Approval voting is very popular. It is used in many different settings. It was used at our department in some voting, but it is used in large professional organizations such as Mathematical Association of America or American Mathematical Society. At various stages of electing the Secretary General of the United Nations. It was used in Greece in parliamentary elections and in many other situations. It is a very natural way of voting. The ballots vary. You may ask voters just to write the numbers, the names of candidates that are approved on the ballot. You may ask them to just write no or yes. Yes means approved candidate, the candidate is approved. No, this candidate is disapproved. You may ask the voter to just mark all approved candidates in such a way, or to mark all approved candidates here and disapproved candidates there. So, different types of ballots lead to different results of elections. There are some ballot-specific effects because some ballots are more difficult to use. For instance, this one. I would choose this particular ballot. It is the easiest, the simplest to use. So now the approval voting was most interestingly, it was used in Venice for over 6 centuries, from 1172 to 1797. It was used to elect the Doge of Venice, the chief executive of Venice. So in the Middle Ages and early Renaissance, Venice and the Commonwealth, Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth, were the only 2 countries or political systems in the world that were semi-democratic, and they elected the chief executives. The election of chief executive in the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth was delegated to all nobles, about 10% of population. In Venice, the richest families were eligible to elect the Doge, less than 1,000 of families. So it was narrower, the pool of electors was narrower. And the election method used at different stages approval voting, but it was very weird. If you take a look at this, first we start with the Great Council, all the richest families, and by lot, so randomly, 30 of them are elected. Then out of those 30, we elect randomly 9. And then by approval voting, with the minimum number of 7 approvals, all those 9 electors elect 40, the college of 40 people. Then randomly out of those 40, 12 are elected. Then by approval voting with at least 9 approvals, 25 are elected, and so on. Then 9 randomly, 45 by approval voting, 11, and finally there are 41 electors that elect by approval voting with the minimum number of approvals of 25, they elect the Great Doge. So now this method comes in many variants. I saw at least 3 different variants. Probably evolved over time, 600 years. This is more than twice the age of the United States. So it had to evolve. But the question is, why is it so complicated? I think that the answer is in preventing manipulation. If you have such complicated methods, so many rounds, then it is very difficult to manipulate this. And this is what we think about this, how we interpreted such methods, preventing manipulation. All right, so now let's go back to our voting profile. We have 55 voters and 55 votes. And let's assume that the approvals are distributed in the following way here. So now let's count the total numbers of approvals for different alternatives. For X, well, X gets 18 approvals here, and then everybody disapproves X. So 18. U approved. Well, 55. W approved. Well, again, 55. And Z, well, Z is disapproved by some voters. So approved by 10 here, and 19, and 21 approvals. And Y, Y is approved by 12, 22, 26. So now we don't have a single winner. We have a tie between U and W. So U and W are our winners according to approval voting.